So, my name is Abdul Sattar, and I'm currently serving as IT manager at Nokivan Tribal Council. I started my career with a bachelor's in computer science and master's in information technology in early 2000. And recently, I completed another master's in computer science from Lakehead University, Thunder Bay. So, over the span of 20 years, I worked in academia and industry. I served as a system engineer, as a university lecturer, and as an IT administrator. I led several teams. I have efficiently worked to developing a curriculum of bachelor's in information system. So, as far as I remember, the first computer I bought was a Pentium 1 processor with the 4 gigabytes of hard disk and 2 megabytes of memory. And now we have the 14th generations of i7 processors in the market with the terabytes of SSD drives and tons of memory. So in these 2 decades, I witnessed the evolving of computing domain and information technology in terms of hardware and software, where I started with the least secure Windows 98, Windows NTs, workstation and server environment, to the most recent advanced cloud computing technology, Azure Entra, and 365 and Google Docs and whatnot. So I'm still a student because this domain is evolving every day. And I learn every day and I still have to learn a lot. So there is tons of different domains and different subdomains in an IT, and there is an experts in every domain. So in my skills, I'm good with an IT service management, defining the IT policies and procedures in a corporate structure based on ITIL, which is Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So that was a little about me, just to explain. I'm still a student. So today, what we will learn. So the target audience of this webinar is youth as well as the non-IT employees in any office or organization, and particularly in indigenous organization in the First Nations. So we will learn today about the cybersecurity basics. We'll identify some common cyber threats, then how to implement the best practices. We'll navigate with the privacy concerns. We will do a touch base on artificial intelligence in cybersecurity, and we will end up with a recap to understand what's our takeaway for today. So let's start with the very basic thing. What is the cyber world? To me and to many other people in the industry and in the academia and the field of IT, the internet is the greatest invention of 20th centuries, which revolutionized the humanity. It brought a lot of good things to us, a lot of advantages. The first one is a global connectivity. I'm sitting in my office in Thunder Bay, Ontario, in my office chair, and using this Zoom, we are all connected, and all other attendees are on the different parts of an Ontario or different parts of Canada, or anyone around the world can join this one. So that enables a real-time collaboration and information sharing with anyone worldwide. And using the Google Docs and all the cloud computing technologies, we can work on real-time projects, whether they are software projects, they are making up presentations or reports and whatnot. The next thing it brings to us is an access to information. So the internet provides the vast amount of information, whether it's the basic sciences, social sciences, engineering, recipes in the kitchen, and entertainment. All areas, whatever we were looking for, we can get it. I used to learn a lot of recipes and even enjoy the fun, other than some math skills or Excel skills that I need to do it. So it brought a lot of convenience and efficiencies to us. We can save time and efforts to the digital communication, online banking, and online shopping. By sitting on couch at our home, we can do lot of stuff. All we need a smartphone, a tablet, and a laptop, and internet, of course. That was it. The internet is a prerequisite. If you have a supercomputer at your place, but if you don't have an internet, we are done. It's even difficult to pass the time. So the last thing I would say is the economic opportunities. The business models are totally changed after inventing of internet and cloud computing. So even today, if you look in Thunder Bay, there is a company, Diamond Taxi, and earlier there were many. So they buy the vehicles, they own the vehicles, they pay for maintenance costs, they hire the drivers and all the stuff they have to manage, and it's all a liability. But on the other hand, if we look to U-Ride, if you look to Uber, if you look to Skip the Dishes, all they own is just an application which connect the service provider and the customer, okay, and with less liability. Similarly, online banking, the flight information, the flight booking, the companies got less things that they don't have to open the office in a lot of places. They don't have to own the equipment. They don't have to pay the wages. So it's all this. There is a website, there is an application. You just go online, book your ticket, pay your money, and that's it. So, and on the other hand, it's saving cost for them and getting advantage to the customer. So, with all these features, we have to deal with the concerns of cyber war because once we are on the internet, we are on a global world, we are on a global connectivity, then there are several vulnerabilities that we have to deal with. There is a security and privacy, the two words you will listen always. They are interrelated, they are associated with each other. So when we talk about the security risk, it's the vulnerabilities. The vulnerabilities is a possibility in a program itself, in a software itself, because the computer programs, they are written by human. The computer only does 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 when it is told to do. It's all the computer. So there are always human. There is a possibility of human error. There is a possibility of flaws. There is a possibility in a software flow or somewhere. So that brings the vulnerabilities, and so we say that they are susceptible to various threats such as hacking, data breaches, malware, and identity theft. Then the other part is a privacy concerns. When we are online, we are sharing all that information online, so there is a possibility of information exploitation. There is a risk to privacy and the security of personal information. In the later slides, we will look more details about them. The next point is online harassment and cyberbullying. So that's another threat that includes unsolicited emails, spreading rumors, negative content, portraying victims' negativity, that all possible in terms of this internet and social media. And then the last one, which is really hard to deal with, is dealing with the digital divide, that is misinformation, spreading the false information, and it's so easy and it's go real quick, anything false. Let's say if I took 2 pills of Tylenol and I have some problem and I just go and say, okay, I take 2 pills of Tylenol and I got all this one without looking to this, that whether the medicine was expired itself. I never looked to the expiry date, or I'm not an expert to that one. So that's the spread of false or misleading information can cause confusion and misinterpretation. So, how to deal with this security and privacy concerns that we have discussed so far? So, the first basic level of security and the first basic layer of security is authentication. And then we add multiple layers. That's how it works. We build a home, we have the doors and windows, we put lock on every door to make sure that our house is secure, and then we can go multiple levels, okay, whether it's a simple key and lock, it's a pin pad, whatever it is. So the authentication done into different ways. It done with by something you know, that could be a password, passphrase, pin, sequence, secret phrase, something you own. It's maybe a mobile phone, it's an application, it's a wearable device, it's a smart card, it's a token, it's a key generator, it's a badge, whatever it is. and then something you are, which is particularly unique to a person, to a human, which is a fingerprint, a facial recognition, iris format, voice pattern, and DNA signature. We use them individually and in combination. We will look to more details in the follow. So the first very basic thing is a password. Now, how important is your password? It is very important. That's the first layer of security that you apply to your online account. And now, how important it is, and how you have to make your password, how you have to build your password. So the two basic things that you have to consider is the length of your password and the complexity of password. Why they are very important? Let me go to the next slide and then I'll come back to this one. So if you look over here, I have two infographics on the screen. The first one on the left is actually explaining the MD5 hashed password. So this is a hashed algorithm MD5, which is used in the computing domain to break the password. Okay. So in this one, if you see, if you just use the numbers only, and let's say the number of characters are 8, that's the minimum usually we use. If they are numbers, they are instantly breakable using this one. If they are lowercase, they are instantly breakable. If they're upper and lowercase, it takes 2 minutes for using this attack. If they are upper, lower, and numbers, then it's 5 minutes. And then they are like including the symbols or special characters, they are 3 hours, which is not much. Okay. But if you look to the number of characters 13, which is the most recommended, I mean, we can go as much as, but let's say just a reasonable range, 13 characters. So if they are numbers, still they are instantly. If they are lowercase, they take 6 weeks. If they are upper lowercase, 1,000 years, 995. Number upper lowercase, 10,000 years. If you include all the four, they take 23 million years. The other side, the second one, is a brute force. So brute force means we tried every possible key, every possible password. Similarly, you just compare the 8 characters and the 13 characters, and you will see that if you have 8 characters, the things are just instantly or few hours. And if you consider the 13, it takes numbers of years. And so that's what it shows, that how important is to have the length of the password and complexity of the password. So for complexity, we have to consider the four elements. Number one is the lowercase. Number two, the uppercase letters. Number three is the numbers, and number four are the symbols. So you always combine these four together and keep your password as complex as much as possible. So now come back to this one. There is just an example how you can use a phrase. So I just took an example that my jersey number when I played competitive soccer was 27 and exclamation mark. So now using this phrase, we take an example, M, a capital M from my, then letter J, a slower letter case J from a jersey, then number into special sign, and then W when, I as a capital or the uppercase from word I, then P from played, C from competitive, S from saucer, was from W from was, and then 27 as a number and exclamation mark at the end. So this is just an example. You can use your own, but we are human beings and we usually try to keep something we can easily remember. It may be our first name, last name, a name of child with their year of birth or date of birth and something like that. So, but still, as I say, that as an IT person, I would recommend to use the maximum length you can have with the maximum complexity you can have. Okay. So moving forward, this is not enough. When we look back to this, I said few years or 1,000 years, and still this is with the normal computer, we say simple i7, something like that. But we have supercomputers exist, we have artificial intelligence exist, we have bots exist. So then maybe it will be now really quick to even use these attacks and tons of other attacks to crack your password. So what you do, you have to add an extra level of security. That's why we called it two-factor or multi-factor. So if we are adding a username password with a one-time password or a password or a code generator on an application like Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator or turns over a device, then it's called two-factor authentication. And if you add another level, let's say facial recognition or fingerprint scanner or a smart card or whatever, then it's called multi-factor authentication. So it's highly recommended that you must use two-factor authentication. Your username, your complex password with an added level of security of a one-time password. It's so easy. You can get a text or you can have it at the code email to you, or a lot of authenticated apps are involved. We have another thing which is called single sign-on. That will now again reflect back why your password is very important. Your first level of security is very important. Then added level of security is very important because single sign-on will help you to access multiple services using one credential, one set of username and password. So let's say I have two images on the screen. On the right side, I place the applications from Microsoft 365. So all these applications you get from Microsoft 365, if you are in an office environment with a license to and you can access them with one Microsoft account. On the left side, there is a Google application. So if you look to these all Google applications, there are plenty. There is a Google Docs, there's a Google Drive, Google Photos, Google TV, whatnot, and they are all accessible using one Google account. Okay. So that's why it's just one credential that once you are authenticated, you get all those services. But at this point, they are from one particular vendor, from the Google or from the Microsoft. You can use your password to authenticate with other site as well. So that's another dimension of single sign-on. You might have seen this multiple times. If you are going to Amazon or eBay or some other website, it will give you an option, sign in with your email, sign in with your Apple ID, or sign in with your Facebook account, or sign in with Google. So how does that work? Now, this is little bit details, technical details. I have a pictures. I mean, I will not go in too much depth, but little bit, let's say you go on a website, Trello, you consider this is Amazon, okay, and you said, okay, user want to log in with a Google account. You said, okay, you can sign in with the Google. So how does it happen? You say user want to log in with Google, then you go to number 2, and they say the Trello directs to Google login page. Now, at number 3, you enter your Google credential. You enter your Gmail account, username, and a password. So at number 4, once you enter the login credentials, the Google send this request at number 5 to authentication server. Now, authentication server is a server that verify that the username and the password you enter is correct. So once it verifies, it generates a token and give it to Google. So now this, what it is, it does not have your username and password, but it gives a token in terms of computing domain that tells you, okay, this person is a valid Google user. And that token is shared with the Trello, say Amazon. So now how Trello knows that this token is valid. So Trello again go back to that authentication server and say, okay, I got this password, which is 123 ABC. And how I know this is Abdul. So I will make sure I say, okay, yes, I verify this 123 ABC is Abdul, and you got an access. So that's a single sign-on concept. So these days, this is most popular. This is what is used by every other organization in Canada and around the world, that we use single sign-on to make your life easier. But at the same time, we have to make sure it is secure and your credentials are not available to everyone. So that's why, coming back to our one, that how important is our username and password. So that's all about the first basic level of security is authentication. Now, we'll talk another thing, which is phishing, the most common thing that we have to deal with every day. Every morning, every other time, you get a call and it says it's a spam. You get an email, it's a spam. It's a spam, another name, but mostly it's a phishing. So what is phishing? It's a type of cyber attack that target individuals through email, text messages, and phone calls. It is an attempt by cyber criminals that pose as legitimate institution, an attempt to steal your personal information. And you can see this is the official figure on the Government of Canada website, that is 6.4 billion phishing emails are sent each day, which is a high number. So that's what you have to deal with it. And you get maybe 2 to 3 every day. So how does they look like? They look like an infographic. They say, okay, your password has changed. Your password was successfully reset. So that's what it is. If you have an email address or a cell phone number, then chances that you will receive a phishing message, and you are not alone. This is the third most common scam that affecting Canadians today. So phishing is cyber criminals that attempt to get sensitive information from you, and they pose as legitimate sender. They pose themselves as a government organization. They pose themselves as a banks, phone providers like Fido, Rogers, Bell, Tibetel, whatever, streaming services, online stores, and lot of time people, you get a call, okay, this is a call from the bank. We noticed an unauthorized $1,000 transaction on Amazon store. If it's you, press one. If not, like that. So that's one. There you go. You press one and you are done. So that's the way they try to pose the things and get you involved. So there are various types of phishing. Before we see how to deal with, let's read a little bit about them. So the first one is email phishing. That's what we use. These are scammer create emails that impersonate legitimate companies and attempt to steal your information. The second one is spear phishing. The spear phishing is similar to email, but the messages are more personalized. For example, from your boss. Every other day, I got an email from my president that Abdul, I'm looking for your WhatsApp number. And I always see it's not my president, it's someone else just posing an email. And I look to always the sender email address. Then it's a clone phishing, that where scammers replicate an email that you have received but includes a dangerous attachment or link. Whaling is the fourth type where scammers target the top officials of organization, the directors, the CEOs, the managers, the high-ranking executive who has access to the money. So to gain access to the sensitive data or the money. Then the last one, pop-up phishing. That's what lot of our users they faced in daily life is a fraudulent pop-up. Okay, your computer has a malware, sorry. Okay, or your computer has a virus. You have to install this, or the storage is full. You cannot play. So once you click that link, you are done. So they are just a notifications that comes from lot of website. Because once we go to the websites, we open a website, we get the cookies accepted, we get allow notification. Every other website will say, okay, we want to access your location. You allow or you block. You should be very careful to choose allow or block, what notifications you allow, what notifications you have to block, because that's pop-up phishing is actually the notification that come from these websites. So how to deal with this one? There are 7 signs of a phishing email. The most important for me is a number 5, where you check the email address. It's not official. And in the following slide, I will show you an example. So that's the first most important thing you should see. Who is the sender of this email? It's the one that is intended to, as I said, that I got emails from my president, Ian, but I know that this is not his email, and I look always to that one. Okay. Then when you say the number 1, it would be just a generic greetings, sir or madam. Number 2, it's maybe a request for a personal information over email. You are required to use this form to update login information. So that's very clear. There is a link given to that one to get your login information. Then there will be a click. There will be a button with some documents. Number 4 has an attachment. Number 5, as I said, the sender email address. Number 6 is you will find a fake link of kind of thing, that a misleading hyperlink that you click. And the last one, there will be a spelling and a grammar mistake, which is the least option these days. We will see when we talk about AI, because AI can do all this stuff for a lot of people. So let's see an example. This is the most recent example which happened even at Nokivan. So if you look to the address from, I highlighted this one, it says info@dispatch.me. So now this is not a legitimate email address for Nokivan. It was sent on Monday, July 22 at 4 p.m. and was sent to all staff at Nokivan. And what was the subject line? Nokivan payroll. So the payroll, something that everyone has it and say, oh, there is something on payroll. And what it says that a new document shared with you, you have a button, you have a link, and it says the document has been shared with you via DocuSign. Please click the access document button above to access the file. And the sender is accounting department. And there you go. So we have a lot of stuff and we do share every day email, but still mistakes happen. Three of our colleagues, they click this link and they got compromised. But thankfully, within no time, we get them back. Okay, we get the access back. So that's something, it's not necessary, it's not intentionally, unintentionally. You have work pressure, you have deadlines to meet, you are looking to something, you may be expecting something from accounting department or the finance department and say, oh, okay, this is the something that I was expecting. I like saying. So what you need to make sure you don't take the bait. You don't take the bait. Read and reread. Read and reread. That's the most important thing. Double check the sender and the message for anything strange. Don't click any suspicious link. Never share your password. Never ever share your password over the email or on the text. Not at all. It doesn't hurt to be cautious. Just call the person. So we were seeing, we are sitting in the same office, and still the people didn't call the finance department and they got hacked. Okay. So that's the thing. Always try to be cautious. Call the sender, call the organization, and check the legitimacy of the sender. So we have covered the authentication, we have covered the phishing. Now we come to the next thing, which is a safe browsing. Because these days, a lot of options, the domain is evolving. The vendors, the providers, the software providers like Google or Microsoft, they try to keep even things secure. Internet Explorer, it is an old story, now it's an Edge. Edge gives you security. Chrome gives you security. Mozilla Firefox gives you security. Apple Safari gives you security. So everyone has a role to it. But Google Chrome is trying to make sure secure, but it's you who will type an email, type a website address. So the first thing that you have to make sure that the website you are accessing is HTTPS. That means they have SSL certificate installed, all the information is encrypted, and they have a secure socket layer protocol. So you will see our, if you go to the Nokivan website, you will see HTTPS. So S is a secure. And that's what thing you will find even if you go to the bank website and all those things. Now, on the other side, if you access a website which is not secure, so the Google Chrome or the Edge will show you on the top, it's not secure. So the first thing, it won't have S, S letter. Okay, it has only HTTP. So I know few websites, but I just refer 123.c as an example. So you have to be cautious. And once you click this one, you will find something, a red, like a notification that this information is not safe. Be careful. Then you can see a lock sign and unlock sign that shows over here, that lock sign and unlock sign. So that's what is that you have to make sure that where you are accessing the information, the website is secure or not secure. Because the security is not only exist on your part. There is one thing at user part. We say, okay, we have a username, we have a password, we have a two-factor authentication. And then you are using Chrome, which is updated, Windows, which is updated. That's another level. But then there is a website you are accessing. That should be secure. Then there is a communication because the information going from your computer to the server somewhere around the world. So whether this whole line is secure or not secure, this whole line is having encrypted communication or not encrypted communication. So maybe the information sent is sent in the plain text. Okay, then anyone can read it, your username and password. So that's why we have to make sure. I'm trying to make it short, but still there is a things to cover. Okay. So there is another good features which is allowed in these all latest browsers, which is called safe browsing. So you can go to the Google Chrome, you can go to the Edge, you can go to Safari, and you can enable that safe browsing. It will help you to make sure that you only access the secure websites. Moving forward, so we covered some part of security. Now we come to the privacy. Okay, there is a very small picture with the two gold bars. Okay, it's very attractive. So we are looking for the gold, and these days the data is the gold. That's what, in terms of IT, in terms of computing, that data is the new gold, and that's how the things done. So let's say I'm looking for a sports shoes, and I just went to Google and I start looking for Adidas sports shoes. Soon after, if I'm going to the Facebook, if I'm going to any of my social media, I will start looking the ads. I will start getting the ads, which I have noticed, the ads from Sport Check, ads from other brand, from Amazon, which will all telling me about the sports shoes available on different sites. So how does that happen? Because once you go, your account is associated, that information sent to the third parties, and that is called targeted marketing. Okay, or online marketing. These tools analyze the data and say, okay, now this person is looking for sports shoes, and it will show you the personalized advertisement for that one. So, coming back to the topic, privacy, you have a right to control. You have the right to control your personal information and activities. And this involves protecting your information from unauthorized access and disclosure. So, what is PII? The personal identifiable information. Any information which can identify you as a person. It may be your name, it may be your date of birth, it may be your location, it may be your SIN, it may be your health and card number. So, anything which can identify you as individual is a personal identifier information. But we need to do it, use it. I'm going to Amazon, I'm always doing shopping, and every one of us, we are shopping. So then what to do? We have to enter our credentials. We have to enter our data over here. We have to enter our credit card details to buy the product. So how does that work? Yes, we need to do, but the, the government's organization makes sure that your information is secure. And to make them secure, to make them liable, every country defined the laws, and they're called privacy laws. So privacy laws are existed to protect the individual personal information. These laws ensures individuals' right to control and how their data is collected, used, and shared. And that's what you can deal with it. You can ask them to delete it. You can ask them not to retain it, what not. So usually, as a normal user and even an IT person, we ignore that one. But there are privacy laws which actually protect the customer and the service provider. Just few examples over here. So, for example, the law which exists in Canada is a PPDA, so which is Personal Information Protection and Electronic Document Act. My apologies, I'm not pronouncing it correct, but I guess it is PPDA. I tried to find the pronunciation. So then there is a Privacy Act of 1974. In USA it exists. There is a HIPAA, which is a very popular. The two popular in the world is a HIPAA and GDPR. So HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which works in USA, and GDPR, which is a General Data Protection Regulation, which is now implemented throughout the European Union. And any organization, any websites and companies who have a business with the European Union countries or the customers, they have to follow the GDPR compliance. Then the last thing, you can enable and disable cookies. And that's what I said, even the location is very important. So we talked a little bit about uh, privacy, and now the social media, the third thing that we used every day. It's a great way to stay in touch with your family and friends, but could be a perfect target for the scammers if you are not careful. Let's say I'm very active to posting the pictures on social media, everything. So one time I posted my picture and it shows a board behind me, James Street. Okay. So the first thing someone got an information, it's a James Street. Another picture, which is outside of my home, and it shows a number 439. So now someone got the address. It is 439 James Street. Now, another time I posted, okay, traveling to San Francisco for 1 week with family. Okay, that's it. There you go. So now you posted someone on the social media that you are not at home. You're traveling to San Francisco for 1 week and your home address is 439 James Street. There you go. So that's what it is. You have to be very mindful what you share. Think before you post, and that's way because it's not just all at once. It's your multiple posts that get analyzed and get your personal information. So avoid sharing the personal information, use the privacy controls, who can see your post. And then the most important thing, double check your friend request. We all have Facebook accounts and Instagram and Snapchat and whatnot. So especially the Facebook, I know Maddie is my friend on Facebook, but all of a sudden I got another request from Madison. Okay, friend request. Surprised. Okay, what happened? Why I got another request from Maddie? So then I need to make sure that it may not be Maddie. It's someone who hacked Maddie account or maybe an impersonating at Maddie and trying to get me as a friend. So that's what you have to make sure when you can get a friend request, and especially if it is coming from an older friend. If it's a new friend request, still you make sure whether you are a real friend or just ignore that one. So the use of public Wi-Fi, there is not much to talk about these things because long back it wasn't considered very secure. Public Wi-Fi, the hotspots, but these days they are considered safe. The technology get improved itself, so the wireless access points which are installed on the public places are now pretty much considered secure in the malls or wherever you are. So you have to always make sure that you look at a symbol when you access a website. Use your strong password and two-factor authentication. Make sure that your phone, your operating system, they are all upgraded. And be mindful about scammers and use of VPN to keep your connection secure. So, artificial intelligence, that's a 21st century invention. Now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, I'm not here to teach about IoT. I mean, the fourth industrial revolution, that's a whole big topic. But IoT, the Internet of Things, is now the fourth industrial revolution, where we got bots and robots in place. The machines are now much smarter. Okay, they help us in a lot of ways. So we use this AI in several ways, such as ChatGPT, Google AI, Zoom AI Assistant. We are using it now. They are all helpful to us, and they are all working on generative AI models. So generative AI models mean that they can learn by themselves and improve by themselves. So we use a lot. We do the text generations, we get the emails created. You can write the books, just go to ChatGPT, paid versions, okay? And you can write your own book. You give some contents and ChatGPT will help you. Image and video creations, a lot of people are earning money from this that they do they do go online, they use the AI tools and generate the images and video content, and then they sell it, and you got money on that one. Music composition, data augmentation, design and art. So we got a lot of things by using the AI and being an AI user, you don't really need to be an IT person. You just need some common sense. You can be a good programmer. AI can write the programs. The really tough computer algorithms that AI can write. Okay. Sometimes why got surprised. Okay. So when we have all these features, that means there is a pros and cons, and we have to consider the both. So we have to consider the AI and cybersecurity. What are the challenges? The first one is AI powered attacks. Okay, that could be advanced phishing. The criminals can use AI to create highly sophisticated emails that makes a legitimate communication. Malware and ransomware. The AI can use a, and develop programs that work as a malware, okay, and that can evade the traditional security. Deepfakes, that's really trouble. That someone can use deepfake technologies and create the videos and audio present and make a convincing representing false information. Okay, identity fraud. So using the AI, you can impersonate another person and spread the wrong information. So let's say I impersonate myself as an electrical car owner or automated car owner and say, okay, I'm so sorry that we heard that there are three accidents around the world because of this autopilot and using in our cars, and we got a lot of injuries. And there you go. Your whole stock market will get lost. Your share prices will come down. So that's all is possible because of these deep fake and identity frauds using AI. Then AI bots, they can make automated attacks, credential stuffing, data stripping. They can try to attempt to access the accounts using stolen credentials from data breaches. And there is a data breach every day happens. And lot of AI incidents happens around the world. So very simple. After the webinar, just go to the Google, type AI incidents, and you will see a lot of examples. AI incidents these days which are happening. So, what is the positive side of this? One thing that we see overall positivity is helping the humanity, helping the people. But in terms of security, that also helps. We can do enhanced threat detection. So AI systems can monitor the suspicious activity and anomalies. So sorry, the call is coming. So there is an automated response that AI can generate. If there is an incident, it can, like if there is something uh, compromised, it can isolate that computer, it can isolate that account. Okay, and that is an, by the way, features available in Azure Entra. If you go to Plan 2, you will get a lot of security benefits because of the AI tools. Okay. So it improved the accuracy, the minimized false positive, then it increased our processing scalability and cost efficiency. These days, we all are trying to learn about Microsoft Copilot at our organization, that how it can help us to improve our productivity and efficiency in the organization. So what to do if you are a victim. And now we are trying to wrap up. I'm almost, I guess, 43 minutes. Okay. So if you are a victim, you have to inform a trusted adult if you are in a home environment, because we said we are talking about a youth. So if you are a youth, you immediately inform your adult at home that I got this issue, and then it will be taken care of. If you are in a work environment, you inform the IT team and the IT admin at your work environment. So then the first basic thing that you have to do is to change your password. Enable two-factor authentication. Make sure that you remember your security questions, because if you want to go and change your password, which is already had, they will ask, okay, what is the answer of this security question, or how you want to access. So you should have your backup emails. You should have your backup phone numbers, or the two-factor authentication that you can verify that now you are the real owner of this account. And if it's an incident, let's say a stolen card or something identity frauds, then you inform the relevant authorities, either it's the banks or schools or police, whoever is the relevant in your case. So let's wrap it up. What we got today. Okay, so internet is a transformative invention. It provides a global connectivity, access to information, and economic opportunity. Security and privacy are the major concerns, such as hacking, data breaches, malware, and identity theft. So you use the best practices. That means you use the strong and complex password, use a multi-factor authentication, use your safe browsing habits, make sure that you are very much concerned about sharing the information on social media, what AI tools are you using, okay, how they can be beneficial for you, what information you are storing, whether the AI is storing the information or not. You can ask this question even chat gpt, that do you store my information, and chat gpt will answer you for that. So that's all the key takeaways for everyone. Please do consider these things. And the AI enhance the domain, and they provides the advanced threat detection. So there are challenges posed by them. Be vigilant online. Protect your personal information. Stay informed. Report and respond. That's all we need to do. We have to run. We don't have to compromise our efficiencies and the benefits we get from the technology. We have to maximum utilize the benefit, but just we need to be vigilant. Okay. And here are a few references where I got this information, or I refer some infographics and the pictures. And thank you very much for your time.